Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today I'd like to try to reach out to all those companies that are installing French drain, rainwater drainage as your main source of income as you're living. I feel that we are heading into a drought. Yes, I know that there's rain in parts of the country, but I believe we're heading into a drought. So maybe I can help you guys be able to survive that drought. Back in 2007, the Southeast experienced the worst drought in history. We had 10 months of no rain at all. Atlanta, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Florida, all of this area was very drought stricken. Mayor of Atlanta, Mayor Shirley, back at that time, she was giving away water saving toilets. I think they cost $1, but I mean, giving these things away, hundreds of thousands of them, because Lake Lanier dried out completely. There's what, 15, 20 million people in Atlanta Metro, and they had no water. I mean, it was gone. Governor Easley in North Carolina, he was begging people, don't use any water except for an emergency, because the same thing took place, in Raleigh and in Charlotte and across the state as well. Here in the South right now, it's been about, maybe 30 days, maybe 6 weeks, we haven't had any rain. And I kind of wanted to show you some things. Maybe it'll help you and also give you some ideas of how to survive the drought. I'm going to start with geofabric, and I'm not trying to knock anybody about geofabric, but I want to show you what happens during a drought when you set that soil back over top of that, when you set that sod back over top of the geofabric. It's just like setting it on concrete. Let me show you an example. If you're putting this sod with only a few inches of soil over top of geofabric, it's basically just like laying it on the concrete, and your sod's going to die. So as the installer, somebody that installed that drain, you may have to come back there and replace that sod. Very difficult to do if you don't have any income coming in from your business. So just kind of wanted to show you, and I'll show you an example right here behind me. Let's take a look. So if you remember me installing this drain about a month ago, you can see what happened. You can see this is only a 6-inch wide trench, and you can see the sod has died. Some of it survived, some of it died. And I just dug this up, and I'll show you that little section, but let's look at it again. You can see there's a good amount of soil on this, but look, the root system is totally dead. It's totally dead down here. And underneath the sand, we've got the geofabric. It's just like setting it on concrete. Unless there's a lot of rain or you're able to irrigate and use your sprinkler system, this sod's going to die. So keep that in mind. Just a little tip for you. It has nothing to do with how the French drain functions. This drain is going to work great, but you're going to come back and replace sod. Something you don't want to do, especially when you don't have jobs coming in. So my suggestion is, there's the 4-ounce, and here is the soil separator. We run soil separator way more than we ever would use this. Soil separator does allow the root system to go across, and your sod doesn't die. So keep that in mind. Just a real quick tip. Let's look at some. You may think that I'm trying to knock somebody about the geofabric and installing a French drain and the sod dies. That's not at all what I'm talking about. I think those systems are great. They're really overkill for a lot of things, but hey, they work great. My point of the video is that if we go into a drought, you better have everything in place and ready to go to survive it. Number one thing I would suggest that you do is get a drain cleaning machine. With a drain cleaning machine, you're able to diversify and clean so many different drains. Go ahead and invest in a ladder and a blower. Do the gutters, clean gutters. Maybe install screens. There's so much more that you can do besides just the French drain. My advice to everybody is share your skills. I tried so hard to show all the DIYers how to do this, and I know that I've reached millions of people and inspired them to do this. To survive the drought is not an easy task. If it happens, everything's setting up that way, and you're going to find a couple of things that are going to happen. Number one, when you install a French drain, it's a place for water to go. So during a drought, if you irrigate and you sprinkle this system, keeping that sod alive, that water's down in that drain. It's going to sit down there. And it doesn't matter what somebody tells you about all the water is going to disappear. It doesn't. It stays in the drain for quite some time. Roots from grass, from trees, shrubbery, they're all going to seek that water. And you're going to have to clean that drain. So invest in a good drain cleaning machine. Come up with your cost. Every place is different across the country. Even our prices are different in Charlotte and Orlando, just because of the area that we're serving and how far we drive, and all these things come into play. But a drain cleaning machine will definitely help you diversify. Also, if you're doing crawl space, if you're encapsulating, remember, it's not just about putting that plastic down and sealing this up. That's not solving the drainage problem. In fact, that may create more problems than you can possibly imagine in the future. You've got to solve that drainage problem. Go after those clients and tell them, we're going to move this water out of the crawl space. That's the number one thing. And then you can come back and encapsulate. Most encapsulation companies do this, but there's so many that just come in and say, yeah, we'll do this and this and this, and you won't have any problems. But in reality, you need to go ahead and solve that drainage problem. Another thing is, think about, you've seen my channel drain videos. We install so much channel drain. This is an area of a concrete area, usually a driveway, could be a pool patio, the lanai, where water comes down and it sits in a low spot. There needs to be a channel drain there, especially here in Florida, where we've got these people that put the paving company, they put that micro channel drain right up against the foundation. So now they've got this water that just pours over to it, and it eventually gets underneath the floor. It might take 10 or 20 years, but it eventually gets under the floor, and they have tons of problems with hardwood, tile, carpet, floorboards, whatever. Learn to install channel drain. It's not that hard to do, and it's great money. People are going to be out on their pool decks, and they're going to be swimming when it's a drought. There's no doubt. And they're going to be spraying it off, and this water comes along and they have an issue. Solve the issue. Solve the drainage problem. So hopefully there's a few tips there. I'm going to post some more videos to try to help you get through the drought if it happens. Let's take a look at the weather forecast. So here's the National Weather Service long-range forecast for the drought outlook, and this goes clear through August of 2019. If you take a look, what you're looking for is areas that drought persist. If you look up in the northwest corner, up there in Washington, you'll see that the drought's continuing there. They're already saying there is a drought. Most of our weather patterns come across from the North Pacific right through Oregon, Washington, and they sweep down through the country. When you see that area that is already in a drought and it will persist, more than likely, we are all going to experience this drought. So if you remember the drought of 2007 here in the southeast, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia, all these places, Florida, it was very severe, 10 months of no rain. And our company was fortunate. We were able to install 1 or 2 jobs every week. The competition totally disappeared. They could not get enough work to survive. So yeah, we grew and grew and grew. I think the real secret is that the best time to dig is during the drought, when it's dry. Your install comes out very clean. You're able to actually solve the problem, not a huge amount of cleanup, thus lowering all your labor cost. Best time to dig is when it's dry. So if you have a good client base or you've had a lot of estimates, maybe you're bidding them really high. Remember last year, 2018, was extremely wet across the country. And I saw so many people gouging other, the customers, just trying to get as much money as they could because the work was so abundant. A good company has a pretty stable, base of cost, and they're able to continue and survive. But if you remember that drought, that was really severe. Again, I remember that Lake Lanier dried up. I wrote letters to the governor of Georgia, to the mayor of Atlanta, to the governor of North Carolina. I wrote letters to everybody, and I proposed a solution, and that is actually downspout drains, because anytime that it rains, all that roof, it gathers that water, and it needs to go out to the street so that it can get to the storm and get out to the rivers and the reservoirs. real simple project. They said, hey, we'll think about it. But it's okay. That's how it works up north. You know, everybody up north, their downspouts go out. They go out to the street. That's taken to the storm, and it goes to the rivers and then feeds the reservoirs. Droughts are a little less severe as you go further north. But here in the south, things are much different. Anyways, let's take a look at this video. It's showing an install from about 15 years ago. And you'll notice that we're using the soil separator. I really like that stuff versus the woven fabric. You can do it either way. As a DIY, if you're watching this video, that's not going to really matter to you. But what will matter is if you have to come back and replace your sod. That's kind of costly and also labor intense as well. Take a look. Digging in wet soil is one of the toughest things to do. Notice that even back 2001, we're using soil separator. Here's a job from 2017 using soil separator. Here's a job from 2018 where we solved the golf course problem, extremely wet, but we're using soil separator. Also the NDS works great. It's all contained. There's no reason to worry about soil separator. Check your discharges. Make sure that you've got good flow to your pop-up. All these things are going to come into play during the drought. Whether it's foundation waterproofing, it doesn't matter. Whether it's a crawl space, you're going to need to make it through the drought. Understand how this system works. The fabric is not the answer to your problems. It's gravel and your perforated pipe. You've got to get this straight or you may not survive the drought. And I really feel that we're coming into a major drought this summer. It's going to really affect a lot of people, a lot of companies. There's a lot of things you can do to make it through there. And number one thing is to deal with your customer base. You've probably given hundreds of estimates last year and truly trying to charge way too much. Later this week, I'll post another video with some more ideas to help you make it through the drought if it happens. Like I said, I lived through a big one, and I hope that you guys can survive it also. Trenching in a wet soil is a very difficult cleanup. A lot of clay, it clumps up, it gets stuck. It's a very difficult cleanup if you're going to dig when it's wet. Much better to dig now while it's dry. You know, we're heading into a drought and it's going to affect the entire country. But definitely, if you're going to do your French drain, now is the best time to do it. The secret to a French drain is the aggregate. Lots of gravel, lots and lots of gravel. You've got a perforated pipe that's going to collect that water, but you need that gravel in order for that water to perk into your system. Make sure that you cover that top of that trench with fabric. We like to use soil separator rather than the geofabric. I think geofabric slows down the system, allows things to get stuck in it, growth, all the above. Gravel is the key for a French drain. Lots and lots of gravel. You can see all the clumps of clay here. Some of this was done with a trencher, some of it was done by hand. But this soil is so wet. As you clean up, it'll come back together, but it's a lot of cleanup to do. We're still working on this. Oh, by the way, this job's over 15 years old. This is an old video. And this system still works great today. We attached the downspouts. We hooked up the catch basins. What a great system. Something that you guys could do yourselves, but I strongly suggest you do it while it is dry. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.